Welcome to That's Good Broncos, now airing whenever the hell it wants to. That was mean, I'm sorry. The draft is less than a month away, and the free agent signing rush is over. So how did the Broncos fare? Well, if you pretend the Denver Broncos are your children, then you support them no matter what they do. And in this year's free agency, our kids made the honor roll. If you're a logical third-party observer, then you realize nobody has a fucking clue what any of this means for the Broncos next season. I'm Brandon Perta. Let's talk Broncos. In the last episode, Free Agency Fuckfest, we talked about the TJ Ward, Aqib Talib, and DeMarcus Ware signings. Today, we'll talk about the Emmanuel Sanders and Will Montgomery signings. We'll also address the 1,000 players we lost. Emmanuel Sanders and Eric Decker are related. Well, obviously not literally, but in football terms, they're like foster brothers. Just like in real life, when one child is adopted, you fill his open vacancy immediately with another one. The NFL really is kind of like foster care. The teams are foster homes, the owners and GMs are the state, and the fans are the foster parents. We do our best to love the kids we have while we have them. We praise them when they do well, and we lash out, dismiss, ignore, curse, and worst of all, disown them when they fuck up. It's a dysfunctional relationship, partly because we know we shouldn't get too close to them. So we withhold sharing real feelings and unconditional love with them as we wait until they are ripped from our homes. Sometimes we get new kids that are better, and sometimes we're forced to watch the child we helped shape succeed in another home. I'd like to blame Eric Decker and openly hate him for playing for the Jets. But sometimes you learn the house mother, John Elway, didn't even leave one of your favorite foster kids an open bed. When Elway offered Decker $0 to stay in Denver, it's easy to see why he left. If I had the choice of playing with Rex Ryan and no quarterback, or making $0, I'd play with Rex Ryan too. But as much as I'd like to be mad at Elway for letting Decker and Moreno go, I can never be mad at my house mother. Not after watching her win 2 Super Bowls, getting the Broncos on the President's Honor Roll for the first time, and then again watching him transform the team that Josh McDaniels used as a toilet bowl for 2 years into a Super Bowl contender. I also have to admit, I'm very excited to have Emmanuel Sanders on the team. I honestly believe he's an upgrade from Eric Decker. I'm also sure by the time I truly start to love Emmanuel Sanders, he will be passed off to another foster home. We've also added center Will Montgomery. If you've never heard of him, that's because he plays fucking center. Montgomery is a veteran center who is a product of a poor foster care system and bounced around from home to home since 2006. Makes a lot of sense that the Broncos let go of a veteran left guard in Zane Beadles and signed a center to replace him. You know what they say about the offensive line though? All the positions are pretty much the same. Montgomery will compete with Manny Ramirez for the starting center position, and who knows who the fuck will play left guard? Maybe we'll draft someone. Or maybe I'll admit that the Broncos organization knows more about running and managing a football team than I do. I'll go ahead and just admit that. Maybe a better analogy though, for the relationship we have with our players is like divorced parents. We, the fans, we're the dads. And the players we love are our own children, who leave with their mother and live with her and her new husband in his big fancy fucking house in Florida. When this happens, your kids, like Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, Robert Ayers, Sean Phillips, Wesley Woodyard, Noshawn Moreno, and of course your oldest and most loved son, Champ Bailey, move to different homes as you are forced to watch them call somebody else dad. What does it all mean? Well, like my poor attempt at using analogies and metaphors to explain the loss I feel during free agency, we don't really fucking know. All I do know is that injuries and free agency cause for a lot of change in the NFL year to year. The Broncos will look different after the draft. Then they will look different once the season starts. And again, they will look different when the season ends. All you can really hope for is that once we single men remarry, our new kids are better than our old kids. Ward, Ware, Sanders, and Talib will be great assets if they can stay healthy. Von Miller and Chris Harris will be great again if they can stay healthy and heal from their current injuries. Manning has to stay healthy for another season, and whoever plays running back better hold onto the ball and keep up with Manning, and also stay healthy. Our best lineman, Ryan Clady, will be back from an injury, but again, for him to be the dominant player he was, he has to stay fucking healthy for another year. NFL teams are revolving doors for players, which is part of the reason we love it. And part of the reason any team can improve drastically from one season to the next. For us fans, it becomes harder to build lasting relationships with the players because we never know when the hell their last game will be. And let's be honest, we don't care about them as people. We care about them as players. How many of us fans paid real attention to Manning when he was injured for an entire season? Nobody would have guessed that Peyton Manning would play anywhere other than Indy. We are lucky to have him in Denver. Extremely lucky. And now we care about him as much as we cared about John Elway when he was quarterback. But as much as we all love Manning now, we have to begin to prepare for the day he retires and leaves us alone. It's both beautiful and really fucked up. The whole reason I did this episode is to remind everybody that loving the players on your team is just like loving your children. It's mandatory. But one day, those little fucks are gonna leave the nest or flat out betray you. Maybe it's their fault. Maybe it's their mother's fault for neglecting them. Or maybe it's our fault for always being too drunk. As fans, we're all single dads left out of the loop, treasuring our weekend visitation rights to watch our kids play on Sunday. And those honor roll stickers we all place on our car. No analogy here, they just piss everybody the fuck off. Nobody cares, nobody cares, nobody cares! Thanks for watching another episode of That's Good Broncos. Tune in next time, whenever the hell that'll be. Maybe next week, maybe after the draft, I don't know. Make sure to subscribe to That's Good Stuff. I changed the name of my channel from That's Good Sports to That's Good Stuff because sometimes I'm not going to talk about sports. Sometimes I'm going to talk about viral videos. Sometimes I might talk about Game of Thrones. I'll always talk about the Broncos, so don't fucking worry that I'll stop talking about the Broncos because I'm always going to talk about the goddamn Broncos because I love them. Like a child. The whole point of everything I just said was that I love them unconditionally.